Okay, we'll close this first day of Tech Spirit Barcelona with a question that goes straight to the heart of our ecosystem. What's next for global tech hubs in Barcelona and Catalonia? With more than 160 tech hubs, these are figures published by Akshay, and a growing concentration of global talent, Barcelona and Catalonia have become strategic nodes on the world's innovation map. But what comes next? What will define the next wave of growth, competitiveness, and global positioning? We'll be debating this with Laura Sancho from Schneider Electric, Marc Farré from Deloitte, Susanna Kamph from Xplore Studios Barcelona, and Akshay from Socialpoint. Moderating this panel will be Mireia López from Akshay, someone who works every day to connect global ambition with local opportunity. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon, and thank you, everyone. Today, we had the last turn, so thank you to the audience and also to the panelists to be here, despite we are in the final session of the day. My name is Mireia López, and I'm the head of investment promotion at Catalonia Trade and Investment. I feel honored to moderate this panel for the third year in a row. This year, we want to talk about a special emphasis on the shift we are seeing in the market, in the tech hubs marketing, and where are we heading as tech hubs? To explore this properly, we are very lucky to count on what I believe is a very perfect match of profiles and companies, giving us a global perspective of what's coming next. Let me briefly introduce our speakers. First, we have Laura Sancho. She leads IT and finance DevOps initiatives across region at Schneider Electric. Her perspective shows how technology and digital infrastructures help organizations become more efficient, resilient, and future-ready. Thank you, Laura, for being here. Then we've got Marc Farré. He's a partner at Deloitte with over 20 years of international experience in business transformation across finance, supply chain, and corporate functions. His strategic outlook and experience guiding complex transformation makes him an inspiring contributor to any conversation about future tech ecosystems. Thank you for being here. Susanna Kamph. She's a design and innovation leader with broad international experience, working at Xplore, part of IKEA. Her vision highlights how design and innovation can create meaningful and scalable impact, focused always in user experience. And last but not least, it's a pleasure to have here Akshay Barakhai. It's the CEO of Socialpoint. He drives teams focused on innovation and the creation of new digital experiences. As I was saying, it's a pleasure to have you all here. And let's start talking a little bit of introducing yourselves and your company and what's the role you're playing in it. If you want to start, please, Laura.
Yes, so you introduced me very well.
Thank you.
As you were mentioning, my name is Laura Sancho. I am the IT director for Schneider Electric in Spain and Portugal. For the ones who don't know it, Schneider Electric has as an ambition to drive sustainability and efficiency in companies, industries, houses, etc., by electrifying or optimizing energy consumption. So that's my role.
Super. I go? Okay, very good.
Sure,
Hello, everyone. I'm Susanna. I am an Xplore Studio leader here in Barcelona. And to put a little bit of context, Xplore is the global innovation organization of Inca Group, which in turn is the largest retailer of the IKEA franchisee system. So my role here is to set up and establish this global pilot as an open innovation capability to explore, develop, and test future retail solutions together with the ecosystem of Barcelona.
Interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Marc. I work at Deloitte. Deloitte, we are about 12,000 employees in Spain. Out of those, 2,000 work in what I would call the digital hub of Deloitte. So we are working in the operate space in areas such as cybersecurity or procurement or finance. And we work for international clients, and our value proposition is to move from a human-centric workforce to a digital one so that our clients can reinvest the resources that we free up in order to make innovation and develop new products.
Thank you.
Well, pleasure to meet all of you. My name is Akshay. I currently head Socialpoint. We are a mobile gaming company. Socialpoint is, I'd say, a child of Barcelona. Born and brought up in Barcelona. I've had the privilege of leading it the past 3 years. The company is focused on building mobile games for global audiences. And like we say, we are taking Barcelona to the world and also bringing the world to Barcelona by bringing world-class talent to make the best gaming experiences happen.
Thank you very much. To continue with, if you could explain us a little bit on the operations that are led on your hub and what kind of developments and technologies do you deal with currently?
Yes, so I start. So in Schneider, we have implemented what we call follow the sun strategy. So you know Schneider is a big corporate company. So as I said, we have implemented what we call follow the sun strategy, which means that does not matter the hour it is or the day of the week, there is always an IT hub with people supporting the operation all across the world. Because we have factories working 7 days per week, 24 hours per day, so we always need to have somebody supporting. So this is why we have 6 hubs, 2 in Americas, 2 in Europe, and 2 in Asia Pacific. So in Europe, we have Paris, Grenoble, and Barcelona. It's the second hub that we have in Barcelona. We are more than 700 people here in Barcelona from all the digital competencies you can imagine, because our intention is to be a transversal hub. So we can have, you were mentioning, Marc, on cybersecurity, so we have a big pool of people expert in cybersecurity, where we deploy cybersecurity competencies for all the company, data, cloud computing, customer experience. We are now entering in AI. Hopefully, we will talk about this one later on. Yes. ERP, like SAP for HANA, public cloud, etc., etc. So many competencies that we deploy for all the company.
Perfect.
And what we do, I mean, we are a very small, it's me and 2 other people in my team, satellite organization of the global organization. So what we do is that we work towards our 4 global innovation portfolios, which are future retailing, future business concepts, future company capabilities, and then big shifts, more looking at automation and other enabling capabilities. And as I said, this was a pilot, but what we quite quickly understood that we needed to do, because the portfolios, they're very broad. You can do basically anything in that. So what we needed to do was to kind of funnel down the focus of what we should focus on here in Barcelona. And this was a very collaborative and organic journey, where simultaneously, while we understood what Barcelona is very good at and what is relevant for the market for IKEA in Spain, what we are focusing on now is future retailing, on retail experiences, and what should be the future of loyalty and engagement. Then it's also future business concepts, focusing a little bit now in the beginning on the B2B segment, and then anything connected to AI automation.
Can I ask why you decided for Barcelona?
Because of the ecosystem. No, it was a very nice balance of everything together, where we have a strong organization here in the market, and we got kind of the task from our board to see how we can expand the business. And we were looking outside and realized that there's this amazing ecosystem outside. So we decided to co-create together with the ecosystem to shape the future.
And with which other cities were we competing at the end?
Well, the pilot was here, and then now, actually, it's already decided after 6 months, which we're very proud of, to scale to other countries. So we're looking at Copenhagen, and then probably somewhere in Asia.
We'll talk also about the ecosystem afterwards with you, Susanna. What about you, Marc?
What was the question? I forgot.
What are the technologies and what is especially your hub doing here, like briefly?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, 12,000 employees in Deloitte Spain, about 2,000 working in the operate space, covering a large variety of aspects like cybersecurity, SAP for HANA implementation, developing digital assets so that we can automatize or digitalize operations in the supply chain across the globe. So at the end, we are trying to use the talent and our digital assets out of Barcelona, out of Spain, to serve clients on an international basis.
Great, thank you. What about your business here?
For us, it's three things. Socialpoint, like you know, is a mobile gaming company, which means that we create all the aspects of building a mobile game happens here. So we are a full stack company, which means engineering, product, game design, user experience, art. All of these teams sit here in Barcelona, and we create the whole gaming experiences that happen all in Barcelona. Since we've had our own history from Socialpoint being an independent company to now being acquired by Take-Two and now being a part of the Zynga family, we also have the leadership for the Zynga EMEA region based out of Barcelona, which makes Barcelona a more important location for us. We also have some of the infrastructure around IT, finance, workplace experience, etc., centrally based out of Barcelona. So overall, we are 350 people here, and it continues to become a strategic hub for us across Europe.
Thank you very much. As we were mentioning or introducing, and our colleagues from other tech hubs were also commenting in the previous session, there's been a switch and new technologies coming in. Since we have two people here that have been involved in the sector for many years, I would like to ask them, and this is for Marc and Laura, have you seen the evolution of tech hubs? What were tech hubs 15 or 20 years ago here in Barcelona? How did we start it? And how do we foresee the future of this business here in Barcelona, since there's a lot of competition? We heard about AI also in India. We heard about other locations, the kind of technologies, commodities, not a little of the past and some future vision.
So I've been working in Barcelona for more than 20 years now. So when I first joined Barcelona, I don't think there was even a tech hub as such. I came here to work in, first it was Accenture, then it was Schneider. I think we have evolved a lot. And when you see the number of new companies coming, startups, big companies, all size, the number of people, local and as well international people coming, I think the attraction that Barcelona as a city has is amazing. And what I would highlight as something that for me makes the difference is the fact that we have arrived at a point of maturity in which the hubs, at least from my perspective, then you will tell me, Marc, we are starting to take decisions for all the company. Yeah. So we are at a point of time in which people has grown. We have people senior in the organization based here, taking a strategical decision I was mentioning to you before about cybersecurity, data, etc., etc. In Schneider, for example, we have people here who is deciding how we tackle cybersecurity in all the company. So for me, this is a big evolution, first as a hub, and second as a community of hubs, because we as a group, I think we have evolved as a team all together. So for me, this is making the difference. For me, the big challenge is how we, and we were discussing this before, how we continue attracting people and making sure that people is not leaving, what we make different so that we, people love to stay with us and they don't go somewhere else. And we were discussing as well about something that is more operational, which is accommodation, how we make sure that we are able to cope with all the newcomers and they have a proper place to live. So that's my perception. I don't know, Marc, about you.
Fully agree. So at the end, if you say what is a digital hub, is centralizing activities that are done either out of one location for the whole company. Before we called that service center, then we would call that GBS, then we call it digital hub, now we call it GCC. So there are a lot of different names, but in the essence is the same. And there has been an evolution of activities that we are doing before, where we were a little bit more following what others were deciding. Now we are a little bit more in the decision-making process. For me, it's still not yet there where we should be. still a room to make it. Secondly, this is a very good example. No, we are attracting also talent from the world to lead positions, which is, I think, very, very important. Third, future outlook, and I will be a little bit provocative.
Go ahead.
Well, I will ask, who has done a prompt? Who has prompted an agent?
I mean, I've
An AI
attempted
agent?
to.
An AI agent.
Yeah.
It's super easy.
Yeah.
It's super easy. So I do not know if we have a lot of technological guys here. I'm not a technological, don't have an IT background, but it's even, I can prompt an agent. And if I can do it, believe me, everyone can do this. And this has a huge implication for the digital hub. Because now, what I perceive is content is much more important than the tech skills, while in the past it was the opposite. We were relying a lot on the tech guy to automatize, to digitalize. But the technology has become so easy to use that the important thing is to know the content, the functional expertise. And do we have in all these digital hubs sufficient knowledge, sufficient functional expertise to combine both worlds?
Interesting. Let's move now on to the ecosystem. I would like Akshay and Susanna to answer and to comment a little bit on how do you see and how did you feel the ecosystem when you arrived in Barcelona? What would you highlight as international companies coming here of our tech ecosystem, and also what are the challenges and the strength of it? If you want to start, Susanna.
Yeah, sure. As I was saying, that we're a global pilot, and already after 6 months, it was kind of put like an approval stamp to go ahead and scale to other countries. And I think that I know that the ecosystem here in Barcelona was a huge contributing factor to reaching that level of success. Because I think for us, it's first of all because of the huge talent that is here, but then also I think it's speaking as a not expert. So, but for us, it's been very easy. I think Barcelona is at a level where it's rapidly growing and it's globally relevant, especially in Europe. But I think it still is, or at least it gives a sense of being intimate enough for new players to come and enter and be part of the conversation. And I think it's super clear that whenever you approach someone, they're super supportive of trying to connect you with people and trying to support you, because I feel like everyone understands that if one player succeeds, it's also building and growing Barcelona. And I think one thing that has also been super attractive here, and the more I work with the talent, is that there's this incredible balance between creativity and technology with the talent, that the lines are a little bit blurred, which I think for us is a huge, it's very attractive, and it gives this little competitive edge if you compare it to other places that we've interacted with.
What about you? What's your experience, Akshay?
So my thoughts on the ecosystem, how I perceived it, and challenges, right? So
Yes.
So for me, it's been an interesting journey, actually. So when I go back, and it's 3 years since I'm here, what I perceived Barcelona to be before I arrived, and what it is, I think that's the right thought in my mind. So, Barcelona has surprised me in some areas, and I feel like I'll get to what areas could have worked better, right? So for me, first of all, like I do agree with Laura when she says that it's a vibrant ecosystem, it's very welcoming, and it's true. And once you experience it, you see that there's depth of talent, not only local talent, but also a lot of, let's say, world-class talent that has moved here, more specifically, which is why we are successful in what we do. We're able to, build that together. For me, what I also believe is Barcelona is a mix of creativity, innovation, and also research. Like I see a good mix of very different things that are important for us as a business, because we need to be more multidisciplinary to be able to succeed than a regular business, because we have to succeed in many functions to be able to offer a creative experience that everybody enjoys. And for me, the depth in multifunctional fields was surprising to see, and I was positively surprised. And there is, and like I said, going back to talent, we see talent very loyal, very committed, very mission-oriented. And this may be more, I may have the sampling bias of my own company, but it's true, and that's been my experience here. What I would like to see more of is, I feel like when I came into Barcelona, I do feel that language was a barrier. I do see a lot of forums, mostly in Catalan and Spanish, and it was hard for me to make through. And I want to thank Akshay specifically, because especially Jordi here, like it was instrumental for us to break those barriers. And in fact, even with my own move to Barcelona, it took me some hurdles to cross. So some of these, when you're coming into the city, can be more overwhelming, and it's not as easy as you would anticipate. But those are, let's say, more structural and so on, right? Not necessarily only related to the business ecosystem. But I would like to see more of, let's say, language neutral or English-led, more open forums with more of your peers at different levels. And it does happen in smaller groups, but it's not, let's say, when I compare it to more successful, bigger hubs outside in the world, like I would see that Barcelona has a lot of potential, but there is still some hesitation. And I can't really pinpoint to what it is, but I do feel like we are not fully embracing that potential and going aggressively behind it. So that's what I feel is the space for growth for the city. We have the talent, we have the potential, we have the capabilities, but how do we aggressively go towards path? Potentially AI is one of those areas that can accelerate this, where it evens out, like Marc said, any barriers we have.
Thank you very much for that insights. To continue, the must question, AI, how it's impacting your organization? How are you, and how do you think it's going to shape the future of tech hubs? I know this is a difficult and long question to answer, but a little bit on comments on that, if you want to start, Laura.
Yes. So from a Schneider perspective, we have two different angles, because AI is in the heart of our value proposition. So when we go to the customer, part of the offer is including AI. Because when I was talking at the beginning that we optimize energy consumption, we have a smart forecast based on solar energy production, etc., etc. This we do with AI. So this is one part of what we see, for sure, and we have to be role models. And this is where it goes, the second part, which is how we use AI internally to manage our efficiency. Yeah. So we still need to grow a lot internally. We have all the different tools that chatbots, assistants, Copilot, we develop with Copilot, etc., etc. But I think there is still a journey to go to the next step. I agree with what you were saying, Marc, in the sense that probably what is going to happen in the next year is that we will need people with more business acumen to understand what is the goal of what you are trying to deploy. It's not IT for IT, it's IT AI for a purpose, business purpose. What is the reason behind? Plus soft skills that I'm always talking about, they are going to become more and more important. So flexibility, able to work in complicated ecosystems, leadership skill, etc., etc. I think this is going to become more and more relevant in the near future.
Sure. What about you, Susanna?
I mean, AI is undeniably part of every conversation globally right now, and of course, we're no exception to that. So, of course, it impacts the way that we look at the future, and I think in Xplore, we are using it more as an enabler to kind of support us in innovating the way that we innovate. This exact same thing that you were saying, Laura. And rather than looking at, okay, let's develop something in AI. It's more as an enabling tool, right? But then for a company like us with the magnitude that we have, I mean, the transformation to fully reach like the end goal, which we probably will never be, because when we reach there, it's another goal, right? But it takes time, and it's not done overnight. But it's super clear that what we want to do is increase the value-adding parts of the operations, and that's where we focus. It's also, I mean, looking at retail, a lot of parts of retail is still today very manual, and we have coworkers asking us continuously for tools to help them improve their everyday work, and AI is a fantastic enabler to do that, to support coworkers to really focus on what matters, which is supporting the customers. And then also with talent acquisition, I think it's not, and now I'm only speaking for me and Xplore, not IKEA, because it's a little bit different in what we do, but I mean, I don't think that, I would say going forward, we're looking at people, you know, who know how to work with AI and who are curious to learn about emerging technologies, because that also says a lot about the mindset of the individuals. And I think it's the mindset and the curiosity to learn is equally as important as competences and capabilities.
For sure.
Yeah, two ideas. So the first one, I joined Deloitte only 6 months ago, okay, before I was working in the industry. And I feel privileged because how I perceive it, and this is my personal opinion, is that all the companies for which you are working for are going to use agents that companies like Deloitte are going to develop. Any business process of your company that you want to automatize, you will come to companies like Deloitte. We will have the agent already developed and adjust the 20% that is special to your industry or to your company. But 80%, it's already developed. And we are doing these type of things as we speak, no? And this is the competitive advantage. It's not because we are smarter or we are more beautiful. It's because we have this competitive advantage. So first idea, I feel that I'm privileged now because I'm in the space, in the place to be. Second idea about the digital hubs, as mentioned before, try to prompt an agent is super easy. Content will be king. So now digital hubs, personal opinion, has a crossroad. They can decide either I remain with IT, waiting AI to disrupt me, or I try to use AI to expand functional scope, partner with other areas of the companies, and try to convince them that they should bring other type of jobs, other areas to Barcelona, so that you can bridge the technology and the functional expertise and generate value out of it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. A lot of good thoughts, and they definitely overlap. I feel we are all, leaning towards the same direction.
Yeah.
And I'd like to share like our own personal experiences, if that's of value to this audience, right? So for us, what we see is what I call democratization of creation, the creative process, right? One of the hardest things to do in our industry was to understand what the creative process is from a technology, product, game design, art. There are so many of these disciplines that take many years to master and very specific skill sets to learn. What AI has done a little bit and will continue to do is shrink that learning time frame and potentially never needing to learn it, right? So, the reason I use potentially is because some of this is not, let's say, tested and proven, but I do see a path to it. So what we, as a philosophy, what we have adopted as a company is that we want to have changes both top-down from a company lens and bottom-up from an employee lens, right? So we are trying to do both. When I say top-down, when I look at my role, I'm trying to achieve sometimes opposite outcomes, and they need to be balanced, right? We want to have our employees be more creative and productive, and we're also trying to manage what are the costs we have to run a company. And ultimately, more successful companies have a good balance of costs and, let's say, more revenues, right? So this is how we find the balance. So top-down, we are trying to find productivity gains. We have now engineers, designers, artists, In fact, we have Gemini available to the whole company, and everybody uses AI on a daily basis, which brings me to the bottom-up point, because I feel like we'll have to let employees surprise us as to how they use AI to make their own lives better first, internally believe that this is going to make them a better professional, and then lend it to their job, and hence lend it to the game and to the company. So this is the learning process, but the learning cycles are very quick. They are no longer many months, many years. It could be a few hours to a few days to a few weeks. And you could create something that would take many months to years, like I said, in a very, very short span of time, to a reasonable amount of, let's say, satisfaction, to an 80%, 60%. Is it world-class? Probably not. And that's where you'll have to do refinement. But you can get off the ground far more quickly. And I agree that the mindset, there is going to be, in my opinion, a new wave of an employee, or a new, I'd say a new characteristic or an attribute of an employee that we look forward to in the future, which I think will be driven by curiosity, will be driven by the ability to learn and to be curious, and no longer by the degree you had in college or how many years of experience did you have. So the resumes are going to evolve, they're going to change, and I'm curious to see what that looks like. But this applies to everybody in this room, which is for the folks on the stage, to everybody in the audience. It's here, and the faster we can embrace it, I think the faster we'll learn.
Would you hire someone that is not using AI?
Today? So for me, I hire based on learnability. Even if they don't use AI, are they open to learning AI is really the fundamental question. Because we do see in some disciplines, there is still resistance to AI for a bunch of real reasons, right? Like, for instance, art. Copyright and legal is a big challenge, right? And these are real reasons. You don't want to be able to, deny them. But if you're an artist who's ready to evolve in this process, why not? I mean, that's the way I see it. But there will be a time, to your question, like a few years down the line, when it would be very hard, because if you've used AI for, let's say, many consecutive years, what you would have become as an employee would be very, very different compared to somebody who's not. So, like we call A/B testing in the tech industry, like the A/B tests would clearly show, a big deviation over time.
Thank you very much for your inspiring answers. I think we've been all thinking like one step forward of what we used to think. It was very interesting having you all here. Thank you to the audience also for being here today with us. From Akshay and the Barcelona City Council and the Mobile World Capital, we will continue following and supporting the evolution of these tech hubs through our Tech Hubs Forum program. It's a challenging moment, and we will be there to see how do we face it, and how do we see how the ecosystem and how do we evolve here in Barcelona and Catalonia and face these challenges we were saying. We look forward to see you at our next session during Mobile World Congress. We'll be presenting the results of the new study. And to end, thank you again for this panelist. It was a real pleasure to have you here. And have a good afternoon, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.